The German adventurer Heinrich von Matzen has described this town as a wonderful place, with its mountains covered with dense vegetation, its streams and falls running the whole year. A place difficult to cross without a stop to admire the beauty of nature and see the maggot monkeys. A local monkey which lives with other animal species which welcome the visitors coming from Blida. Mdia awaits its visitors to come and discover its quietness, beauty, and its originality. Mdia is marked out by the purity of its air and its moderate climate. Is characterized by the simplicity of its constructions, which came at the same time rural and the urban. In an obvious harmony, each architecture has been influenced by the previous civilization and historical events. Its streets are quiet and free. Mdia is the junction between coast and plains. It's situated within the Atlas of the Tell, characterized by a diversified geological aspect, including high hills, vast plains, and rocky plateaus, with green mountains covered with dense forests. Thanks to the vegetation, the ecological balance is stable, and besides the cattle is a real wealth. Mdia has got a temperate and semi-continental climate. It is geographically exposed to the winds and currents coming from the west. The town of Mdia has about 19 dairas and 64 districts for a surface of 8,000 square kilometers. It's limited in the north by Blida and in the south by Jilfa. It is bordered by Msila and Bwira in east and by Jilfa and Tisimsilt in the west. It forms an axe joining the four cardinal points of the country. Population and diverse tribes have marched through Mdia history. In 2012, its population was about 90,000 people, all linked with the heritage, cultures, and civilization inherited from the ancient times. The name of Mdia comes from Maduna, which represents the leader of the Berber Sanhajid tribe, or the Madani, or Midi, in reference of the manufacture of knives, or Lamidia, in reference to the Remain queen who ruled Mdia at the beginning of the Gregorian era, where Mdia was between the two Remain towns, Tanamuza, Berwagia now, and Sofinar, Amura, or according to the legend, its name means a high land and antique town built on high plateau. Mdia was under the domination from the end of the 1st century of the Gregorian calendar, after the defeat of the Numidian kingdom caused by the Berber rebellion under the rule of Taqfarinas. Against the Remain occupation, at that period, it was at the same time a military area and a Remain colony, as well as for Mauritian, Caesarea, making the south and east accessible. Mdia has also witnessed the expansion of the military camps, which constituted checkpoints of the town of Mdia. Tanarmuza and Sofiner, the plain of Bani Slimane, in the region of Joab and the town of Rapidium, ranked as historical site. This city was built in the year 15 after Christ, in a wide area between cairns and fertile lands. It was under the leadership of Berber chief Taqfarinas during 8 years. After having fled the Remain troops, he considered it as a strategic base in his fight against the Remain colonists, where he was assassinated. When emperors were enthroned, Rapidium became a town colonized by the militaries and the Remain civilian and thousands of Berber farmers. The town has become a meeting point for the different local social classes. The tourists can't miss the vestiges left through the epitaphs, written on the graves and the cemeteries as well. The decoration and the sculptures which make Rapidium lives forever with its rich past and civilization. The inhabitation of Mdia embraced the Muslim religion since the first conquest of Islam in the north of Africa. In the 7th century, under the rule of Uqba ibn Nafi', Abil Muhajir Dinar, and Musa ibn Nusayr. The Muslim town of Al-Ashir was made in 936 under the rule of Khalifa Abu al-Qasim al-Fatimi in Ain Busif at the bottom of the mount Al-Kaf al-Akhdar. The choice of the site responds to the military objectives, and its strategy position would overlook the mountains and get advantages of the abandoned waters. It were Ibn Khaldun and Ibn Hawkal al-Idrisi. The antique Qasr or Qasr al-Bukhari in reference to its builder Muhammad al-Bukhari since the Turks have taken up residence in that region, the modern Arab style has influenced a part of the architecture of the town. This town is famous for its constructions of Muslim style, and it constitutes the confluence of many water currents which supply the different districts of the city. Its creation goes back to the Remain period. It was exploited by Ziri bin Manad, as well as by the Ottoman during their reign. The only vestige left from the Ottoman period in Mdia is the minaret of the Red Mosque built by Basha Murad. It is 18 meters high and is famous for its cylindrical shape, influenced the Hanafid school architecture. The old city of Mdia has still its architectural structure, which is the testimony of the Ottoman coming to Algeria. The city has been built as a capital of Beylik Titri under the rule of Hassan Basha, who was the son of Khayr ad-Din. After him came 27 governors and beys. This bey was known for his military struggle against the French colonization, and he was close to the local population. In 1840, the general governor Val tried to occupy Mdia, but in vain. He sent them an army to fight the Emir Abd al-Qadir, but failed. He was then obliged to send military reinforcements under Peugeot's order, who succeeded in taking the town and imposing the exile of Emir Abd al-Qadir to the south. Mdia became a French colony in 1858. After the political struggle and the start of the War of November 1954, Mdia has widely contributed by sending its freedom fighters to join the National Liberation Front of the Wilaya 4, where huge military operations took place and which resulted of the death of 1,500 people. Among them the Colonel Tayyib, the Colonel Tayyib al-Jilali, the leader Sid Ahmed Bashani, Si Ahmed Louhi, Khadija bin Arwisi, bin Yekhlef, and other heroes like the Commando Ahmed Bougara, whose name was attributed to one of the most important museums of Mdia. A lot of visitors with roses visit his historical site and discover the vestiges left by the Maltese in this region. It relates the bravery of men and women during the revolution among these vestiges. Guns and artillery wed by the fight in their operations. Photos illustrate these battles, and worked plans relate the members of resistance victories of Wad Sinan. In the city of Isawiya in Mdia is the Museum of Fatma Sumer. This building has kept its architecture structure. It took this name because it was a refuge for Lala Fatma Sumer after her exile and its coming back to Kabylie, where she fought the most prestigious armies. Thanks to her cleverness and determination, she defeated the General Francois Randon, so that he was compelled to ask for more help from the General MacMahon, at the head of 45,000 soldiers against 700 revolutionaries. This obliged Lella Fatma Sumer to call for peace, to negotiate a ceasefire, and stop the massive massacres and the repression of the isolated population. After her arrest by the colonists, Lella Fatma Sumer found refuge at the Bey Mahieddin Tahir, the leader of the Brotherhood of Isawiya Zawiya. She lived 7 years under the protection of Muslim community of that Zawiya, where she suffered from homesickness. She died at the age of 37 years, and she was buried in the cemetery of Sidi Abdullah, not far from Isawiya. It is unthinkable to speak about or to visit the Museum of Mdia without going past the house of Emir Abd al-Qadir, which is a mixing of Islamic and Ottoman architecture. It was built in 16th century by the Bey of Beylek Titri and became Al-Emir Abd al-Qadir headquarters. Its architecture is like the one we can find in the Ottoman places in the Kasbah of Algiers. This building of 18 rooms contains statues of personalities like one of Emir Abd al-Qadir, who was the leader of the popular resistance and the founder of the modern Algiers Republic. During his mandate, he spent long stays in the edifice. In one of the museum, we can find other objects like the sword and the saddle belonging to his little son Emir Khalid. Other statues represent the Sheikh Fadil Skandar with other famous scientists and religious men, as Jalil Mustafa Fakhar and the scientist Brahim Bandari. And Mohammed bin Shanab, who was the first Algerian who got the degree of doctorate. The artistic family of the town is represented by Mahboub Safarbat, nicknamed Mahboubati, one of the greatest Algerian composer. He modernized the popular music next to the statue of the most famous pillar of the theater, Hassan al-Hassani, called Boubagra, as well as the one of Stambouli. This house remains a link between the past and the present, get people informed about the historical events that happened in the region up to the independence. Its history has allowed Mdia to have a rich culture and civilization. In fact, the town has kept a great number of visitors and architecture inherited from all the civilizations and religions present there during decades. The Church Notre-Dame de l'Atlas was built in 1983 at This civilization diversification of the town of Mdia had shown through the modern architecture of the Mosque An-Nur, which is situated in the center of the town. It was built after the independence. The strategic position of Mdia has played a big part in economic and political life of many Islamic countries, which went by this town like the Rostomites in the 8th and 9th centuries, and the Sanhajists in the 10th century with Ziri ibn Mannad at their head, whose period has witnessed a fruitful cultural and industrial development. Every corner and nook of this mosque contains important architectural ornaments. It goes from its modern Muslim and Moorish style with its very nice decoration and sculptures to the skillfulness of those who made the spiritual character of this place appear. Besides their diversity in architecture influenced by the historical periods this town went through, the modern pole of Mdia has been recently built with an architecture conform to the modern and international norms. This style reflects the development of infrastructures and their extension meets the modern norms required by the inhabitants of the wilaya, whose traditional and modern life coexist. At night, the moonlight joins the lights of the town. When the night is as the day, the activity is important. In the streets, people move a lot. The streets find their quietness very late at night. The youth go shopping, play games, enjoy pastries, gather and discuss about so many things in a family atmosphere before they separate at sunrise. as well as for those who love the noise of children. Banjko is a town located in south of Mdia at the altitude of about 1,200 meters, among its wealth and amusement park in a wonderful natural space, which offer a view on the north-west part of the wilaya of Mdia. The park is greatly visited by families, especially in spring, and we can relax between green spaces and rare species of tree. And besides, this accommodation is present to welcome the visitors. It is easy for the visitors to visit the surrounding thanks to the paths, ways and bridges taking respects the ecosystem. A playground is kept for children. They can entertain themselves, have fun in a pure air under shade of trees. This park represents the bride of the wilaya of Mdia. At 10 km in the north of Mdia, the mountainous region of Temesgida is a splendor. Its altitude is over 1,200 meters. The air is pure and the forest dense. There is a lake which is considered as the highest in Algeria. This region attracts a lot of families for its sane environment and the beauty of the site. Ouled Antar is a region where the nature is wonderful and wild. There offers marvelous landscapes as far as the eye see. The beauty of nature in this region is quite dazzling. It extends up to the mountain of Kaflakhtar, where the lake of Sidi Ziyan or Menzah bint Sultan flows another splendor of the side. The legend tells that the daughter of the king used to spend most of her time in that place. When the regency was belonging to the town of Ashir, situated in the south of the mountain. The quiet climate and the purity of the water of the lake are unequaled. Mdia is characterized by its abundance in water of the lake and the dams found in the mountains and on hills. The town contains the most important water stock of the wilaya, supplied by the streams that run the whole year. Besides this abundance in water, great surfaces of fertile lands encourage the majority of its inhabitants to work the land. Great surfaces are reserved for the culture of vine and various fruit trees. The quality is excellent and it represents the pride of the country. Other spaces are for the culture of wheat and barley in the place of the south which constitute the main activity of the inhabitants of Mdia. Some rural areas still use traditional means in harvesting. The inhabitants of Mdia give a great importance to cattle breeding, which plays an important part with economic activities. The part or areas being available, the northern regions are specialized in the bovine breeding for the production of milk and meat. Mdia is the leader in the production of vine meat. The activities of the inhabitants of Mdia are not limited only to agriculture, but people are also interested in handicraft they have inherited from the past generations. Each craftsman creates its objects according its different techniques and the materials chosen by the artist. The industry of porcelain artistically modern, and the models of origin represent the antiquity of this job in spite its modernization all along the Wood carving is also one of the artistic activities of Mdia. The craftsmen transmit this art from generation to other and try to present its antiquity. This art requires precision and perseverance in the creation of object pieces of furniture, walls and coatings are decorated with patterns which reflect the historical background of this art. The industry of traditional clothing is the favorite activity of the women of Mdia. They excel in making karakus and dresses embroidered with golden thread as well as burnous in fitla. Mdia is famous for its traditional cakes. The women of Mdia are very creative when they are making cakes. They give them colors and shapes that they decorate for great occasions or to welcome a guest or visitor. The hospitality and the generosity of the inhabitant of Mdia are always present. Accommodations are here to satisfy the client's needs. Hotels are built throughout the territory and their objective is to supply the best services to their customers. Every hotel is marked out by its architecture, and it provided services which are in accordance with international. The Wilaya of Mdia is also famous for its restaurants situated at the border of the National Road 1, and those of Hamdaniya remain the best. They receive hundreds of tourists and families per day. People gather around delicious kebab and tasteful dishes. Mdia has been ranked as the most appreciated destination for a great number of tourists